Before we get started, I'd like to apologize for not uploading for a while. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get straight into it. One of the most highly awaited features in Krunker is the competitive rework, which a lot of us colloquially refer to as FaceIT. It's been in the works for a while, and when I say a while, I do mean it. I myself wanted to know why FaceIT was taking so long, and what some of the factors were that managed to play into that. So, I managed to get in contact with some of the people who are helping work on FaceIT, Dose, also known as Paris, and VokUS. I asked them a few questions, and although they weren't able to disclose everything, since some of that information is still not for the public, I did manage to get some pretty good insights. Before I get any further though, I just want to say that this video is a bit longer than some of my previous videos, and I do encourage you to watch or listen all the way through, because we got some pretty interesting answers and insights from them. So sit back, relax, grab a drink or some snacks, and enjoy. Without any further ado, here are the questions I asked them and their responses. The first question that I asked both of them was a question that I'm sure many of us would like to ask if we had the chance. FaceIT when? Dose said that the FaceIT release is intertwined with the release of Season 5, which we know is coming soon, so whenever Season 5 comes out, that's when FaceIT will come out. VokUS, on the other hand, said that it's coming very soon and that our wait time is nearly at an end. Although he did tell me that there is no definite ETA yet, this still does help give me hope. The second question that I asked both of them is what has been causing all the delays? Dose said that the reason the people think of it as a delay is that the original ETA for the competitive rework wasn't actually an ETA. It was just announced when Krunker had just partnered with FaceIT, and so no actual work had been done yet. VokUS said that the delays had a lot to do with the technical integration of FaceIT with Krunker, especially since this is the first time either group has done something like this. And fixing Krunker to work with high tick rate servers was also causing some delays. The third question I asked is, do you think FaceIT will bring back some players who have quit the game and help reverse the stagnation of the Krunker comp scene? Dose said that it might help bring back some players, though tourneys are just as important, as no tourneys means no comp scene. On the other hand, VokUS said that it might bring back old players, but we'll just have to wait and see. The fifth question I asked was, do you think FaceIT will lead to the growth of the game overall, and what do you think its impact will be? Dose said that although FaceIT by itself may not lead to crazy growth, it will give the top community members more content, which may help the game grow. And before I go on to VokUS's answer for this question, I just want to weigh in here for a second. I do think that FaceIT can help grow the game as a whole, because I do have friends who started playing Krunker upon my suggestion, but left quite soon due to the lack of a ranked or competitive game mode. However, I do know that for a game like Krunker, the people who want to play competitive or ranked game modes probably are a lot fewer in number than those who just hop on and play some pubs. So I do agree with Dose's take here. VokUS had an optimistic outlook on the situation, saying that FaceIT itself is also a popular platform with around 2 million players, so we might see some of those players try Krunker out. And he also said that the goal of FaceIT was something fresh and accessible for newer players, and to add incentives that made it engaging and rewarding. I do agree with him here, because in addition to possibly bringing in new players, it can create more depth to the game for existing players. The sixth question that I asked was, what have been the biggest challenges working on FaceIT? VokUS answered that the biggest challenge was to rethink and reconceptualize how competitive matches are played, as well as how to balance them properly. He said that they had to think about the weapon mechanics, because those do change at high tick rates. He also said that the balancing of the game mode itself was also important to think about, and Krunker competitive is traditionally hardpoint, so they also had to think about adjusting some components of the maps themselves and the game mode to better balance the game. One example of these balancing changes was the addition of the halftime switch, which also opens up the possibilities for capture the flag competitive and more maps in the future. The last question that I asked was, are there any balance changes that you can leak ahead of time? Dose said that he thinks the game is in a fairly good state at the moment, though he wants Shotgun to be unbanned and LMG could use a bit of a rework. VokUS said that although there are no balance changes that he can leak right now, there might be some changes after they're able to gather some data, because of the fact that FaceIT servers are very different from Krunker servers. Anyways, that concludes the Q&A section. I will be putting Dose and VokUS's answers to each of the questions in a Google document as well, so that you can read them for yourselves and judge whether I interpreted their answers correctly or not. Now, on to my opinion. I was honestly quite pessimistic about ever seeing FaceIT released, and I can admit to have making jokes about its perpetual delays. However, being able to communicate with Dose and VokUS makes me believe that FaceIT really is coming soon and has cemented my excitement for it. I understand the resignation a lot of us feel, and it's completely justified. But I, for one, can't wait to see how this all turns out. Let me know what you think in the comments section down below. I'm Flight, and I'm out. Bye-bye!